been an extraordinary week in terms of the weather, and I hope we're going to have an equally extraordinary day of compound archery.
Well, we have to wait no longer. The teams coming out for the gold medal final in the compound women's team event. USA versus the host nation, Colombia. Let's go down to meet this star-studded teams.
On target number 1.
En la vaca número 1.
Representing the United States of America.
Representando Estados Unidos de América.
Lico Areola. Olivia D. Alexis Ruiz. On target number 2.
Y en la vaca número 2.
Representing Colombia.
Representando Colombia. Juliana Candego. Sara López. Y Alejandra Uscano.
The line judge for this matchup is
El juez del partido.
Klaus Lüder.
So there we have it. The USA team got a new lineup here. Lico Areola, just 15 years old. Olivia Dean, just 16 years old. Both making their debuts on the World Cup stage, teaming up with former world #1 Alexis Ruiz, who is 23 years old. But the home crowd will be right behind Colombia. Juliana Gallo, Sara Lopez and Alejandra Usquiano. Can the USA, as a young team, beat this experienced Colombian setup?
Well, they do have two really great talents in their team and a former world #1, but you would have to say Colombia in their home country being one of the best, if not the best, compound women's teams at the moment. I'd have to give this one to Colombia before seeing the match, but I'm always up for a surprise.
It will be Usquiano to get the match underway. 10th anniversary of this stage here in Colombia, and it's the host nation featuring in our first gold medal match.
Yes. 9. Good.
So Gallo shooting in the middle in the first rotation.
Yes.
Just in time, Sara Lopez into the 10.
And we see this quite often, that the least experienced archer of the group will shoot the middle position in the team, because it's the least stressful position. Because opening a match or opening an end or a set can be a bit stressful, and having to close the match can also be a bit stressful. So being sandwiched between experience is typically the easiest spot to shoot.
USA leading out with Lico Areola, the 15-year-old. They have the confidence in her, and she has got veins filled with ice, it seems. Alexis Ruiz shooting in spot number 3.
Yeah, and although she's only 15 years old, she has some experience, especially looking at the Vegas shoot and winning that one back-to-back at such a young age. That's
13 and 14,
yeah.
and it's incredible for Areola.
9.
It's a big matchup for the Colombians. Usquiano taking the first hour of the second rotation, so they're sticking with the order for the first rotation, with Gallo going in the middle.
really good grouping there from Sarah Lopez. And, Gallego doesn't have a bad group either. She just drops a bit lower left. So I am suspecting she'll move her sight, and we're going to see a bunch more tens from her in a bit.
It's an opportunity here, though, for the USA to strike out early. It's a cumulative score, of course, in compound archery.
Nine.
So both on the left, but she is adjusting her sight. So I think the shots felt good. And she just needed some adjustment in her sight setting.
Well, there it is, end number one on the target.
Finishing with a 10 for a 58 and a slender 1-point lead, but they'll take that, won't they, the USA?
Yeah, 1-point lead is still a lead, and they're shooting against, well, like I said before, arguably the best compound women's team in the world. So they need to grab the lead they have with both hands.
And this dominance that we've seen from Colombia over the past few years started right here in Colombia when they hosted their very first stage. This is the 10th anniversary of that, and Sarah Lopez in that time has won 7 Hyundai Archery World Cup finals.
Yeah, which is, well, it's not just impressive, it's just incredible. If it was easy, more people would have done it, and she's the only one who's won so many.
But there are some challenges for Sarah Lopez at the moment. Ella Gibson had a fantastic season last season, winning all 3 of the events that she came to. She ended up second in the finals, of course. Lopez, she took the World Games title last year as well. But she set the bar high, but it does seem that people are now trying to match up to her, including the likes of Liko Arreola.
Yeah, and I think Liko is probably not at the same level just yet, but definitely somebody who has the potential and the time to still grow into, you know, the legend that Sarah Lopez has become.
And she is on the right, chatting away with Colombians trailing by a single point will shoot first in the second end. We talked about how they like to keep it nice and relaxed. The team set up, enjoy their shooting. Lopez, of course, going for a hat-trick of gold here at her host stage.
So it's the 10-year anniversary of the Medellin World Cup. 2013, they organized it for the first time, which also means it's the 10-year anniversary of the first stage win of Alejandra Usquiano, because she was the individual winner of that World Cup stage.
And she's celebrating in style with another gold medal here.
Gallego has a really quick shot process, and I think it's probably not because of the team setting, but it does help out in the team setting, because that means that you won't run into any time trouble. You get 2 minutes for 6 arrows per team, and you have 2 rotations of 3 arrows, so the clock just keeps running until you shoot your last arrow of those rotations. And 2 minutes is not that long. It's 20 seconds per arrow, but it also includes getting on and off the line. So typically in a team setting, it's useful to have somebody in the team that doesn't take too long. It's being called a 10, but it kind of looked like a 9, so, and it's being marked as a 9, so I think that was just a mistake by the stadium announcer there. That one is on the line. So with those 3 arrows, Colombia managed to regain the lead. And I suspect that they won't be easy to catch from this point on.
For perfect here. 40 out of 42 arrows to go.
Some good communication there from Sarah Lopez to Gallego. Just standing behind and talking her through the shot, giving her information about the circumstances, I suppose. And it pays off.
She's had to redraw here. Good job they are shooting quickly, because that gives Lopez plenty of time. Has it put her off? No, it has not. A perfect 60 from the Colombians, and they march on to 117 points.
So that quick shot of Gallego, or well, the quick shots of all of them pretty much, means that even if she had that reset, they still had 10 seconds left on the clock. So they are very comfortable in this team setting when it comes to how much time they need.
We talked about Nico Arreola, 15-year-old. This is Olivia Dean looking pretty comfortable herself at just 16 years old.
And again, an arrow that's very similar to their first arrow, being called a 10, but I think it's out. So it might be that the spotter is just in an unfortunate position to look at arrows from that angle.
There it is, low down range, ladies and gentlemen.
Puts it into the 10 to finish with a 57. 115, but those arrows that you mentioned, the 2 of them marked for measures, they will be measured, but I certainly think the first one was a 9.
Yeah, and well, from what I can see, the second one is as well. So I think Colombia has regained the lead and also kind of ran with it.
Yeah, 3-point swing if those are 2 9s that are going for the measure. Chef, what's the coach doing here?
So the coach is just checking all of the arrows and seeing if there's no breakages or if there's any veins that are loose. Or and you can see that all of the archers do it themselves as well. You just don't want to have a match decided by an equipment failure. So because there's more arrows than one on the target, you can always hit the one arrow with the other and break a knock or break off a vein. So definitely something to watch out for. And it's easy to check, but devastating if something were to happen.
And the famous high five from Alejandra Esquiano. Notice that time that she kept her hands still, not wanting to injure her opponent. She got a pretty strong high five, hasn't she?
And I think we'll see some more of those, especially after she shoots. The high fives that she gives her coach are pretty explosive, so we can look forward to a couple of those.
USA under a bit of pressure here. Looks like the first measured arrow was marked as a 9, but the second has been marked up to a 10. And that will put the USA on 116 points. We'll just wait for confirmation of that, but that seems to be the case. And just as I say that, of course, they mark the second arrow down to a 9, and it is 115. Plays 117. USA shooting first. We're halfway through this gold medal match, and it's Nico Arreola, the 15-year-old, to shoot first in end number 3.
Not a bad shot, but just hits a tiny bit low. They have a 2-point deficit now, the USA team does, so they need to kind of, you know, get their A game, but it's not impossible to get back from this. And they have 12 arrows to regain 2 points to get a shoot off, and well, Colombia has already missed 3 in their last 12 arrows, so it's not impossible. But they will have to shoot very well to get back in this match.
just get the feeling that even a 1 point drop in a rotation gives the Colombians room to breathe.
It feels different as well. If you look at the two teams, it almost seems like the Colombian team is a bit more familiar with each other and a bit more as if they are a family, whereas the USA team just seem like three really good archers that have been put in a team together. So it's a bit of a different dynamic going on.
Silver medalist from the stage in Antalya. Colombia, that is. Debut appearance at a World Cup for both Ariolas, just to put it into the 10, and this 16-year-old Olivia Dean.
Definitely a bit of shooting on command going on the USA side when Olivia Dean is shooting. She's using a trigger style release, and you can see that before the shot goes off, she just moves her thumb around the button to press and then suddenly presses it. Whereas most archers using a trigger style release will put their thumb or index finger, depending on what type release, they'll put it on the button and just slowly squeeze. That was a really good high five there from Alejandra Izquierdo. So you can see here, the thumb is already on the button, slowly building pressure, and then the release goes off rather than what some people refer to as punching the release. Sarah Lopez has a very good example of this as well. I don't know if we're going to see the front. Yeah. So you can see the thumb goes onto the button, and she slowly presses it rather than punching the button. So a different approach, not necessarily one better than the other, but mentally most people prefer to do it slowly because it's easier to let the shot happen than to make the shot happen.
So Colombia maintaining their 2-point lead through the third of 4 ends here. Chef, we're talking about punching and then the subconscious squeeze that you guys refer to. Is it true that if things are going wrong, it's harder to correct them if you're a puncher, if you are actively releasing the arrow?
Well, the risk of punching your release is target panic. So target panic is like a mental phenomenon, as we get a nice slow-mo of one of Alejandra high fives. But punching your release, like you're always in danger of developing target panic, where it's not like you choose to punch the release, but your brain kind of like, as soon as you aim on the gold or as soon as you see the gold, you just punch your release subconsciously. So that's a risk of implying or using that technique. Whereas if you just let the shot happen, it's less of a risk.
A tricky situation here for Nico Ariola and the USA team. I mean, it's a great debut performance from Ariola and Dean, especially getting a taste of the finals range. But they are 2 points behind a Colombian team that have dropped just 1 point in the last 2 ends. Time for the fourth and final. And it is Ariola on the shooting line for the USA.
It's a really nice and calm shot by Lico there. 2 points is not impossible, so anything is still on the table, but USA cannot really permit too many mistakes, as Olivia just shoots one of those very, very close arrows again, but I think it's going to be just out.
Yep, X, there you go. Yep, X, there you go.
It's nice to see that Alexis Ruiz, the 23-year-old, the oldest member of the team, returning to the form that saw her briefly hold the world #1 spot. I mean, she's right down at world number 104 at the moment.
Yeah, she hasn't shot that many international competitions. She's been active on the domestic stage in the US. But internationally, we haven't seen that much from her in the last couple of years. So it's nice to see her back on the circuit and doing well as well.
9, 9, 9.
Lopez will want a 10 here to
9,
maintain at least a 1-point lead. There you go, you called it, Chef. We are all square with one arrow to come from each of the 6 archers out there. USA to shoot first. Nika Ariola. This has come down to the wire now. 10s is what they are looking for, the Americans, to put some pressure on Colombia.
It feels like a bit of a momentum shift as well, right? As a neutral spectator here, it feels like, oh, USA can still do this. They can still get back into this.
This is an important arrow, isn't it? Olivia Dean, quick and on the mark. A 2:14 goes, sorry, a 2:13 goes to a 2:23, and Alexis Ruiz can make this a really nervy finish for Colombia if she can hit the 10-2.
10, 10, 10.
And she's done just that, setting a target of 2:33. Colombia need a straight run of 10s here. They've scored 3 9s through the first rotation. Up steps Alejandra Esquiano.
Nine.
And that is the gold medal gone.
Yeah, it is. So, well, talk about the momentum change. They were leading convincingly after the second end. And then a couple of 9s and the momentum's just all gone.
9.
Well, there's going to be bitter disappointment here, especially for Sara Lopez, going for 3 gold medals today on compound Saturday. One has already escaped her, but she's got into the 10 to finish with a 2:31, and it all changed around in that final end. And hats off to Nika Ariola, Olivia Dean and Alexis Ruiz for hanging in there, because they turned it around in the 4th, and the USA take gold. It's the 2nd silver of the season for the Colombian women's compound team, but it wasn't the fairy tale start they were looking for here in Medellin. Confirmation there that the USA have taken the compound women's team gold medal here. A brilliant debut for Ariola and Dean, and a great return to form for Alexis Ruiz. This trio will be on top of the podium very shortly.